Hmm. Power cord when one needs one is never available. Aha, a power cord. I suppose we'll pop the chat out so I can read it. Hey Daniel, see you're off to an early start. Okay, let's get some power in there. Plug it in, turn it on, flip it over, and we wait. This power cord could be a bit short for the sort of distance things I'm trying to do. I like to normally turn the whole thing this way, but that's not going to happen. I need a longer cord. Or plug into a different place. Hey Barry, Andrew King, not really many people in the whole everyone else point at this point, Andrew. Okay, I'm just going to plug into a different PowerPoint. There we go. Now I can do the vertical thing. And we gotta wait. And wait, and wait, and wait. I've been having real dramas with iPads. I got this one in the other day, and it was severely bent. Like this was way up here, and then it was a compound bend over here. And in spite of straightening it out as much as I could, the adhesive just would not hold, even with proper clean and everything like that. So I've got to admit, I actually resorted to what I would not want to resort to, and I ended up putting a very fine strip of hot glue just along this corner so that I could clamp it and hold it. Honestly, I could probably use that 3M or Tessa contact prep surface, but I don't have any of that. And honestly, most of the time it would go off before I get through enough of it. But I just take a thin shaving of hot glue, place it along there, heat it up, clamp it down. At least the nice thing about hot glue is, if you do heat it back up, it's going to let go straight away. So it's not like it's super glue or anything. I have seen people use super glue, and that terrifies me. Of all the glues that you could use, hot glue is probably one of the more benign choices to make. Gaff. Oops. Oh, that's the busted up one that goes in the bin. Alright. Boris, Teresa, Osis, Jose, Jan Robert, Jan Robert. Just need builder's foam. Oh yeah, nothing like squirting some polyurethane in there. That won't ever have any difficult removal elements to it. The other thing that's making this one a particular pain though is that the on-off button is buggered. So I cannot actually switch this thing off. So that does give me the heebie-jeebies a little bit. Hey Ron Rogers. Damn it, glasses are dirty. What more do I have to do in this world? Clean my glasses or something? Am I a fan of Lost? I was until they finished it, and then I was like, oh, that was just terrible. That was such a cop-out. I said, you lame-ass writers. Just copping out on that. So, yeah, initially I was. But in the end, I was not. They had such a good opportunity there to do something, and they just sort of went too hard. Either that, or they just got too smart at the start and put themselves into a bit of a corner. And that does happen a lot. Syntech and Blazing at Riston. Yeah, the ending, it just... You could tell they were struggling. They're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And then just to fall back on the classic trope was just like, But, like I said, I mean, it's not unusual. It's kind of like with the new Battlestar Galactica. Well, you know, the most recent one. The way they ended that was just like... It was like, give me strength for not wanting to throw up now. Okay, this is a particularly frustrating one because we've got lots and lots of little bits and pieces, and they are falling onto the... They're falling onto the display, so I've got to make sure that none of them have got any glue on them. So that makes the display a bit difficult to clean up. Because if you get glue on the display, you sort of get tempted to go in and clean that up. But the trouble is with these displays, once you start trying to clean, you sort of get stuck in a bit of a trap scenario where you have to effectively clean the whole thing through and through. Otherwise you just end up with this smear marks all over them. The ending of Star Trek Voyager made me sad and felt cheap and lame. Oh, I can't even remember that one. Oh wait, Voyager, you mean like the V'Ger one, the original one? When V'Ger decided, alright, I'm willing to accept 2 human beings or whatever. Come on board. Well, I'll absorb them and study them. Tom Jones syndrome. What's that? They sometimes tend to rush the shows at the last minute. What's this? Janeway Voyage. I haven't seen that one. Unless I'm misunderstanding. Wouldn't be the first time. Oh, by the way, yesterday we sucked. So today we aim to do better. We're going to do better today. Every day we suck, and therefore tomorrow we do better. Osis is disappointed. Thank you for reassuring us that we sucked. Niemand, come on. I've turned off the heater element and I can already feel it. I need to put it back on. I try to turn it off a little bit so I don't just completely saturate the iPad with heat. But in these sort of scenarios, with the way how badly it's smashed, you tend to take too long trying to clear it, that it all cools down a little bit quicker than you sort of are prepared to. I'm just glad that it hasn't turned on yet, because it... Fuck me. Sorry about the swearing there. Even though I've got my glasses on, and thank goodness for that, that little piece of glass, it actually just bounced off my eye. This just adds to my title of the stream. Hey Christos. Phineas Bog. Haven't seen you around before, Mr. Bog. Mrs. Bog. Yeah, when you get displays like this, when people drop off their iPads and you're like, oh no. And yeah, I mean, yeah, you can put tape and other stuff on top, but ultimately you're still fighting at this edge. At least we're getting some sort of clear run here. So soon we might be able to set this thing upright and do the final stage of the split. And I've got to find out what's going on with that on-off button. Yeah, Miles, certainly is a good idea to always wear some sort of eye protection with most of these jobs. Even just opening up iPhones, when you've got to replace the screen on them, that can be a bit precarious, particularly if it requires a bit of force to lift it up. Because when you apply the force, it crushes the glass, it compresses the glass, and that's when it spits up little bits at you. Let's see. We'll see if we can dig a little bit down, just to make it a bit easier for it to split. And then we'll set it up. Yeah, see, it's doing the crazy. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to set this up. I'm going to have to basically just let it spread out on its own. I'll put some alcohol down in there. It might soften the glue a little bit. Unlikely, but I think we're just going to have to go for the split as is. Hey, CD. Yeah. I've got glass flying everywhere here. The other thing to be concerned about, of course, is as you're sort of applying force to everything, you can end up slipping and hurting yourself. Yeah, it's not too dissimilar to trying to deal with a broken house window. It's not safety glass like a car. This stuff will mess you up. Ah, Riston, damn it, man. That's very unpleasant to hear about. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm talking about. Yeah. Very easy to end up with ferocious splinters in the wrong places. And this is a particularly bad one. Of course, we also have to make sure we don't damage the home button cable. There's no prizes for destroying that. There we go. Hey, Prater. And Mark. Scratch the nose. Alright, we got lucky that glass pretty much separated off from the edge, not too bad. Repotting cacti, not much fun. No, that's certainly not. I don't do it often anymore, but as a kid I certainly did. I still have some in my collection. Yeah, I remember plenty of times as a kid regretting certain cacti purchases. Oh, on the wrong side of the bench. Had a light bulb explode in my hand when I've attempted to unscrew a rust. Well, that used up a good dose of my empathy chip. Especially on the hands. The hands being so uh, packed with nerves. I think I'll pass on ever doing that one. Okay. Would you join GD Tech Information? A GD Tech Information Portuguese language live stream? I don't know. I've never done anything like that. Okay, come on. Out you come. Sorry, the more delicate side of this whole process. Oh, getting these screens out. There we go. You lurk in Lewis's. Well, yeah, I lurk and yeah, I participate in terms of lurking, but I thought you were meaning more in so being on a video link or something. Sorry, I guess I'm misinterpreting what you're asking. Okay, looks like we did alright with that display. It looks like we haven't contaminated it with any real glue. There is a few pieces of glass floating around in it. Not sure what to do about this home button here. We'll, not home button, the power button. Just warm this little rubber pad up so I can take it out. Hey Lexi, you have to be on site at 7 AM. Too early for me. So what's that mean? You got to wake up at 5? An hour to feel like you're human, and then an hour to travel. Hey, B-Blood. Yeah, we didn't get it all off properly, but that will do. Hey, Toby. Okay, this is not going to go to plan. 4 AM. Oh no, hell no. That's a big fat no thanks from me. That is a mess. And we still have to get that home button off. The other thing that terrifies me is when you get little pieces of glass like this and they, say, land on the silicon mat or on the board, and you forget that they're there, and you go about your normal business, and every now and then you sweep your hand across the whatever the surface is, and that's when you discover that you actually still have little pieces of glass there. Brush that off. Just basically trying to get rid of as much of the glass as I can. Likewise here, we'll just disconnect this since we do not need the heater element anymore. And we'll also shake this out into the rubbish bin and brush it down. Glass seems to stick perfectly fine to this blue heating mat. Okay, looks like that's all cleared up now. And of course we have to... Actually, I might not clear this off yet because I have to take that off. Yeah, I can imagine you would be getting PTSD. Okay. Gotta be real careful with this whole home flex thing. A bad move and it's gonna turn into a bad day. And it does not help that the stickiness grabs onto your gloves, which tends to interfere with your ability to easily, handle it. Everything's sticky. It's just tricky stuff. Tricky, sticky. Hey Sinclair, what have you been up to? Just don't screw up the adhesive strips into a ball. You don't want to pink. Oh yeah. It's a fine way to find some pain. Okay, the thing I also need to check is on the replacement, does it have the ring installed? It does not have the ring installed, so we need to take it from the ring. Wood alcohol, it basically just sort of spread it out more. It can help, but it does tend to spread it perhaps more than anything else. I mean, ultimately, if you keep at it, you will clear it out. The trouble is, will you persist that long? We're good. Hopefully we got the ring. Yep, we got the ring, so that's good. Okay, the other thing I've got to check is, does it have the camera guide? No, it doesn't. Man, they're getting skimpy on me. I'm ordering the best units that I can get for replacement panels. And they're not even shipping them with the rings or the camera guards. Hey 3X, good to see you here again. Nice that you visit so that we can see that you're still with us. Okay, now we can put this in the damn rubbish. Good riddance. Oh god, don't do that. A piece of glass. Okay, we're gonna have to wash this down. Oh, just back in a second. I've just got to get some paper toweling. This is about the only option I had for cleaning up workbenches today in the shopping centre. We have a bit of a supply shortage problem up here in North Queensland. Not as bad as some other places in the world, of course, but we certainly are experiencing the effects of the weather systems down south. Namely, the trucks and stuff can't get through to us. So a great portion of our normal supermarket supply chain is down and out. Okay. Hey Keith McDermott. Hey Dad, fix it. Do I prefer the quick or the Atten? They're much of muchins in my opinion. I think certainly the Atten. The nice thing with the Atten is that you can change the temperatures and such without having to actually remove the handle from the holster. Whereas the quick, while it was holstered, well, at least with mine, you could not change any of the values, which is a bit frustrating because you often want to prep what you're about to do before you take it out of the holster. So yeah, there's a bit of a annoyance in that respect. Just going to see if it needs a... That is really crushed in there. I hope I don't regret what I'm doing now. Vegemite, fortunately, is... I mean, I know you're only joking, but at least things like Vegemite, we can store a year's worth very easily. Stuff like cat food and other such things, not so much. Trucks are stuck at Grafton where they're sending food up Chucky from Coffs. Yeah, it's just a... The floods have been an impressive, undesirable, but impressive demonstration. Okay, now, question is, does that button work? Okay, the button works. So what's locking it? I'm going to get it out of there without damaging that flex. In the quick you can change it even if it is in the handle. Really? Maybe that's a later firmware revision or something, because I definitely have not been able to do that with my quick. As soon as I holster it, it stops responding to anything. Okay, that button, the actual chassis button, is completely and utterly jammed in there. Looks like maybe a bit of rust or something. I might put a couple of drops of 80/20 in there and see what happens. Because that should... Oh, yeah, okay, yep, It looks like someone chucked up their lunch on that. Okay, so let's get a couple of drops of 80/20. Oh yeah, there it goes. When you see the in screen, press the up down buttons. Yeah, I did try that. Yeah. I did try it, and it doesn't do it because I tried many a time. So no, maybe, like I said, maybe I've got a older firmware or something. Okay, how am I going to get this out? Oh crap, I hope that's not polarized in its orientation. Because I did get the quick way back. Yeah, Prater, it's certainly a little bit unpleasant. And I think I've been duped by an eBay seller. I ordered, I think, I ordered about 1,000 Q-tips like this, earbuds, and it said stock in Australia, and that was 2 weeks ago, and they've given me tracking, but it's like, you're sending that from China and I know it. You're lying SOBs. Unfortunately, even when you report them to eBay and eBay shuts down the account for whatever reason, they it's no harm to them because they've basically got 100 plus eBay accounts for any given warehouse of sales goods that they have. You're never going to actually penalise them. I can say that most likely this crud it's food based, whatever it is. You know, it's cereal or something like that. Yeah, cereal or puke, one or the other. Yeah, that's good for the task at hand. Because they know they're gonna, they deliberately obscure the true origin of where the stock is, because they know that people buy, if given a choice, are not going to willingly purchase something that's going to have to come from China if they're in it, in for a hurry. Okay, I've got a dimple on one side, and I don't recall seeing the dimple, so I'm going to assume it's keyed to the right. Hey, 555, welcome. Okay, I kind of need two tweezers for this. Hey, Mr. Stamps, welcome to you too. Yep. Well, I will say, so far as home button, not home buttons, so far as lock or power buttons go, this one was pretty much how I would hope it would be on most devices. I remember with the iPhone 5, it had a real problem with the collapsing power button, the lock button. And to make things worse, it was the design that was actually particularly difficult to get access to. Dennis Krigsman? Yeah, another iPad, unfortunately. Oh, look at that. It actually clicks now. It's amazing how these things can work when they're puke-free. Toileted phones. Please don't talk about that. Oh. I think the worst was always when people would call you up, just sort of like after dinner time or something like that, in the evening, desperately saying, my phone's gotten wet, I need, please can you save it? And you go, oh, okay, yep, sure, just, what sort of water did it get dropped in? And they'd be all cagey about it, and you know straight away, as soon as they're cagey about it, that it's a toilet phone. Or the worst is when they just lie outright to your face, and then you open it up, and you go, God damn, that's a toilet phone. It's like, I get it, it happens, but at least be honest with me as to where it's come from, so I can at least be in the mindset of being slightly more protective of myself. I mean, I'll always use gloves, and I'll always treat them generally as a toilet phone, but yeah. Hey Kenny, wouldn't... Yeah, I've still got my iPhone 7 Plus. I did drop it the other day and I need a new screen on it. In the meantime, I'll put a protector on it. Keeps the screen from falling apart in my fingers. I can still play Best Fiends on it, so as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't yet need repairing. Always flush before you're right. At least this one, the glue's coming off pretty easy. Naturally, I keep forgetting to get new blades for this handle. I might have to just get a new handle. Sometimes you can't really find a suitable replacement blade. Yeah, they just don't sell it to you or something like that. But it's a good handle for scraping the glue off these iPads. Hey Prolux, just bought some cheap ceramic tweezers off Amazon and pressed their ceramic, and they can be ground to suit your needs. How do you go about grounding the ceramic? Do you just use it against another stone or something? Do you end up fracturing many of them? Because I imagine with ceramic, one dud move and you tend to ruin them. Teresa, I'm presuming you heard of black cockatoo where you are. We do get red-tailed blacks here, but not during the night time. This isn't an X-Acto, but I know X-Acto do have handles similar to this. I used to have one for my model aircraft stuff. Not really sure where it went to, which is a bit of a nuisance because it was a nice one. It was a bit longer, red, and had like 8 or 9 sort of striped knurling. It was a sturdy thing. But yeah, I've forgotten. I must have just thrown it out or something. I don't know. It doesn't seem like me to throw out a tool though. Not a good tool. So I can only imagine I lost it somewhere along the line. But it's a really cheap, like $10 kit, this thing. There's some interesting elements there. The plane is pretty much useless. I would not trust this plane on anything. I have a much better one that I prefer. This one here looks like a edge trimmer. Again, everything's just too rounded. There's no real sturdiness in them. Sanding block. Yeah. So yeah, I had that blade there was here. That's the only thing I've got. Hey, the repair guy. I've got 100 odd blades for the number 11 style, the small handle. I really don't have any blades for that one though. Okay, so is this genuinely a high-end replacement, or are they just fibbing to me? They did at least, it does look at least like actually it does look like they've cut back the film. As a negative though, they haven't got a pull tab for the internal film. God damn it. It's like they do well in one aspect and then they botch it up in other aspects. It seems about right. Damn bugs. We've got some glass that we still have to clean off this. Fortunately, they came off one piece. A little bit of glue still. Goddamn bugs. Ah, that one went straight in. Didn't even buy me dinner. Okay, let's get our special glue. Bug was the dinner. Terrible, terrible way of dating. Oh man, that's killed my voice for a bit there. I know it's not the proper way to do these home buttons, but honestly, I found hot glue does seem to do a pretty good job. Extra protein, yeah. The one thing that will give you nightmares, though, is that with things like, if you say, look at, what am I thinking of? Grasshoppers and things like that. Is the ever real and terrifying presence of Gordian worms inside the said creatures? Or horsehair worms, as they're also known as. Those things are scary. Although the likelihood of consuming a what do you call it, grasshopper of sufficient size that you would be also a victim of the horsehair worm is thankfully very, very small, as in the likelihood. Okay, that is massively off. I do not suggest YouTubing on horsehair worms if you are in any way squeamish. Needless to say that it's a very distressing end game for a lot of creatures. Spiders, spiders, grasshoppers, praying mantises, things like that. Yeah. Makes you thankful for being human. Really, spiders have one of the worst deals in the insect kingdom at times, I swear. Sure, humans are terrified of them, but basically, spiders really do have a horrible, horrible existence at the best of times. No! My fingertips snared the glue. Damn it. It's not the end of the world, it's just that I like to have a nice sort of beaded finish, and I'm not going to get that now. Although, I do have to actually correct the positioning of this. Let's see, the button's in place, but we're a little off in the wrong direction here, so we're going to have to shift it across slightly. I can feel bugs are getting in my hair now. This is really starting to suck. Oh, Wayne, you would not want to be living here because we actually look after our spiders quite a lot. Protect them, we save them, we encourage them to set up set up base. Yeah. Oh, that's still off. Give them names. We don't get around to doing that much around here, but we certainly do our best to encourage them. Hey, Greg. Most of the ones we have here, Greg, they're not web spinners. They just, they're hunters. Okay, that's good. That's what you want to hear. Nice clicker, clicker. Yeah, they're hunting spiders that just roam around looking for their next victim. Yeah, I'll take more spiders over and less roaches. Thank you very much. Definitely a better deal in my opinion. Right, this is the tricky portion where I often stuff things up. Huntsman and wolf spiders are very welcome here. Unfortunately, huntsmen are very frequently also victims of wasps. The wasps will either paralyze them and drag them off to be basically alien situation where the spider is a conscious but unwilling participant in the wasp's procreation outcome. Okay, what the hell? What? What? Oh man, I gotta feed this cable underneath this one. Why do they do this? I'm pretty sure I gotta feed it through. Don't I? For some reason they... Okay, so dog legged is on top. Yep, I gotta feed it through. Yeah, this one has to be on top. Oh, and I guess... Yeah, but it's gotta be when it's come out, not when it's folded. Ah... Come on, just... It's it. I don't know why they don't just ship them correctly in place. Can you make money off iPads? In terms of labor, I would say no. If you're only doing one or two a week, it can just be something to fill in a bit of spare time. Otherwise, no, they are actually more of a pain in the backside than anything else, and quite frequently you will waste a considerable amount of time dealing with the inevitable quirks, like having to deal with that on-off button, or a bench chassis, stuff like that, or a really dirty frame that you have to spend 20 minutes cleaning up. If you want to do the job poorly, then you'll probably be able to make money off it, particularly if you've got some slave labor. Oh yeah, definitely don't do it for friends. Everything's going to go wrong if you do it for friends. Every time. I'm a bit of a pessimist like that. It's a bit like the whole no good deed goes unpunished business. I don't want to be that kind of pessimist, but unfortunately the universe does seem to do its very best to encourage you to be the pessimist. Or at least be mildly cautious. And by mildly cautious I mean assume everything's going to go wrong. Like right now I'm taking a bit of a crazy gamble because I don't know if this thing is actually turned off or not. I don't know if it's trying to display. And as soon as I connect the display up, the screen back in, it may just come up and I may pop the filters or something like that. G'day Graham, how's it going? Yeah, friends and family are definitely the worst. Because there's certain expectations, they want high quality jobs at very low prices and done quickly. Guess, oh man, please do not make me regret this. Whew, okay. Well, we are the, oh crap, there we go, it came up. That was gambly. I'm gonna let it, I just realised it's gonna show the person's data. God damn it. Overworked and underpaid, you know how it goes, yep. You gotta do better though, Graham. Do better, mate. Take lessons from Pedro 147, Mr. I Scam You. He's a professional scammer. He's so good, he'll make you smile while he's ripping you off. Okay. I don't get it. Why does it not let me... The cancel worked. I guess we'll just turn it off. It's not a full off, but it's better than nothing. Okay, we'll put those screws back in. Sacrifice a few RAM chips or something and hope that we don't get too much dust on the assemblies. I might put down the glass and test that the touch works okay, because I couldn't seem to get it right on the top when I was trying to slide that power portion of the display across. But I have had that happen before, and then as soon as I put it down it seems to work. So it could just be a case of I cannot orientate things correctly. That would not surprise me one iota at all. Okay. Usually unscrew. Yeah, I was doing that originally, but I actually ended up finding just trying to lift up that assembly to slide the oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, that does work. Or does it? No, you don't work. What is going on? Maybe it's my fingertip? This is where it gets really frustrating. It's like, Is that a sign that there is something wrong with the display? Or was it just my fingertip because it's gloved and I've got the plastic barrier on it? Should I seal it up assuming that it's okay? Or is this a sign that I need to actually go back and check something? Yeah, stuff like that. It messes with your head so much. I'm certainly hoping it's the gloves. Yeah. But it does mess with your head. It really does mess with your head. So Graham, what do you got on today? I don't mean what are you wearing, by the way. I'm not into asking those sort of questions. Nick reckons it's time for the full send. Where did that terminology even come from? And of course we've got bugs flying around, so the bugs are going to drop all their, particularly the moths, they're going to drop all their scales into the display. Get a touch pen. I do believe I had one, long since lost. Okay, we've got little specks of this protective foam here that we have to get away because you know they're just simply going to migrate onto the display. Data transfers at the moment. See if I can do a Windows data transfer from an old Windows 7 to a new Windows 7. Ha 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 ha. Good luck to you, sir. Good luck to you. If you do manage to pull that off, I'll be very curious. Are you going to use any of the Microsoft migration toolkits for that? I have tried many times over many years without any real success. There's always some problem, so in the end I usually preempt the situation by just telling the customer, I can copy your documents, your photos, that's pretty much it. Everything else you're going to have to reinstall yourself. I know it's brutal, but the number of times I have been painfully screwed over in terms of hours lost, I've gotten to the point where it's like, you know what, there's probably some poor sap in town who's more than willing to take that gamble, and I want you to go to them instead and don't ask me ever again. Okay, it looks like I've got a scratch or something going on here. That is where the impact was, so I'm going to guess the impact actually came through and scratched that display at that point. Get away. There. Do you have floods in your corner? No, we actually don't, which is nice. But unfortunately, it is still affecting us due to the fact that our supplies come from down south, and at the moment, none of the vehicles are getting through. So the shelves are exceptionally bare at the moment. Okay, I hate this. I've got to lift this up, route it to the other side, so I can pull it. Oh, for goodness sake. I do wish they would put nice pull tabs on these adhesive strips. There we go. Clearly it's asking too much as usual. Yeah, we're going to break into some Afrikaans then. So far I've done 7 to 10 on the old laptop, now converting it from legacy boot to UEFI. You're a madman. You're a madman. But I enjoy it. And you know what, if you can do it, then that's fantastic. I had one nightmare of a system. Oh my, damn it, my blue tabby thing just came back. I had one nightmare of a system, and this was predominantly my own fault because I didn't sufficiently researched what I was doing. But a customer had an old second generation system, and they were running Windows 7, and they wanted to keep running Windows 7, but they needed a new mainboard and CPU and all that. And I just blindly ordered them an 8th gen, and it was only after I got it that I realized that Windows 7 does not really work with 8th gen. I mean, there are some ways you can deal with it, but overall it does not. And they were running a RAID system. They wanted to also go from 2 terabyte to 4 terabyte. And it turns out that under Windows 7, I couldn't do that because with the drive formats that they had, it was limited to 2 terabyte. And needless to say, it was a complete and utter screw up of a job that took me weeks to sort out. And in the end, I had to buy them a 6th generation system. And then I still couldn't even push them out to 4 terabyte because of the file system limitation. Yeah, it was not one of my best jobs. And pretty much from then, I basically decided, you know what, I don't think I'm cut out for this anymore. And I started harassing Lewis Rossman. No, actually I was harassing him long before that anyway. You son of a gun, you blue piece of crap. Get the frick out of here. Every second matters here because of the bugs. And I've got something sharp jabbing into my crotch right now. It's not pleasant. Going down, Captain. Yeah, Graham, it was like I said, it was my own fault. I didn't realise that, Windows 7 stopped being supported after 6th gen. So, basically, that was entirely my fault. And that became the streaming machine that I was using before, the 8th gen, which is now going to become my gaming machine. But, I was not happy about that. The customer wasn't happy. Everybody was not happy in the end. It did not play out as we had hoped. So, in the end, I did not charge them for any labor. I just simply said, you know what, this is my fault, but I am going to get you to pay for the parts that we used, of course. And of course, 6th generation gear was very expensive. It was in fact more expensive than the 8th generation when I had to buy it. So I was not happy. No, you see, I didn't want to do virtual machine because that's just more layers for the customer to deal with. Yeah, things like that. I don't want to try and bodge solutions like that. It's fine if it was me, but not other people. Hey, Jim Allen. Yeah, it was a MBR file system as well on the RAID. And it was just, and of course it was not a dedicated RAID card. It was an Intel mainboard RAID. It was a nightmare. It was just a complete another nightmare. Oh, that's right. Yes, now I remember. To add salt to the wound, their graphics card was the one that had problems, and I plugged it into my main board just to test things, and that is how my original main board got destroyed, because I plugged it in and then I heard this noise and everything was destroyed, and it even wiped out the 4 terabyte drive. Fortunately, it was the TVS diode on the hard drive that saved it, and so I was able to replace the TVS diode and it got the data back, but I immediately copied all the data from that drive, which was a new drive, but I copied it to another new drive, because I believe that if you trigger those TVS diodes, even if the drive still works, it's not worth the risk of continuing to use it in a customer's unit. So I just mark it as like a backup drive that I could just use in my array. It's not something I would give back to the customer and say, here you go, this just went through hell and fire, but hey, you'll be right. It was one of, like I said, it was probably the last migration job I did like that. After that, I basically said to people, I can give you a new machine, I can make a new machine, but all we're going to do is we're going to start from scratch again. So you're going to need all your applications and know what you're doing, and I'm going to need your Google account details and things like that, so we can set up Google new, and we'll migrate your documents and pictures and stuff like that. Everything else, I'm not moving the applications. Nothing. No, thank you. No. It's just, yeah, and I admire people who do this on a daily basis for the shop or whatever. Maybe they're using the Microsoft migration tools or something like that, but that's not for me. I just don't do it enough, and I don't want to do it enough. Alright. Well, at least that iPad kind of, it's got a bit of a bend in it. Son of a bitch. I guess I better clamp this sucker up. Yeah, it was, like I said, I couldn't see any viable way, honourably, without just saying, look, you pay for the parts and I'll consider my time as a write-off, considering that I didn't do it properly, or I was not, I didn't know my stuff well enough for that particular migration. I wasted their time, I wasted my time. Uh, so in the end, they did get to run Windows 7, but it was in a limited sort of capacity because they were adamant they didn't want to move to Windows 10. About certificates for banking, etc. For those sort of things, most of the time we don't really need them here in Australia. You basically just sign back in and the bank says, alright, we'll send you a code to your phone, confirm, and we're good to go. As long as you're running a reasonable browser, they're happy. That's the other problem with Windows 7 as well now too, of course, is that a lot of the time the browsers no longer have enough of modern security capabilities, and so the banks will actually deny the certificate that it can handle. Alright, that should be good. It's pretty flat, this one, so I'm quite happy with that. Well, when I say pretty flat, let's see. It's got a little bit of a bow in it, but it's not catastrophic. Hey, boss, how's it going? Where'd you get the fancy vices? I just got them off AliExpress. These are the Hyun Lee ones. You can get cheaper versions. These are fairly expensive, but I gotta say I do like the quality of them. They definitely have a nice feel. They're just done really nicely. So yeah, it's probably going to cost you, 40 odd bucks for a set, but it's well worth it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got them from AliExpress. I'm just going to put that tablet in there. I'll stick the customer's rotten little iPad holder in there. What else do I need? Gotta find the other customer's one. There's the other holder. Waar is dit? Ach nee. No idea. Oh well. That's the way it goes. I'll find it. It's probably in my other workshop. Okay, what have we got here? Right. You're good and done. Just trying to find something that I need to fix. Don't get me wrong, I've got a good number of those, but I've got to find the right ones. And I've still got customers who are not getting back to me to pick up their gear. And that's starting to get a little bit frustrating. Bugger it. I think we'll just have to attack the stack. Get off me. Ah, forgot to put that in there. Set it for $15, right? I ended up buying 16, so that'd be $60 all up there. Oh, this is a 16 gigabyte unit. Alright, let's try and fix this sucker without knowing what's wrong with it. Okie dokie, let's roll. First step, apply power and find out. The micro repairs. Let's see. There's my chipmunk. Okay, looks like we've got a steady 290 going on here, which is not a good thing. Steady 290 and absolutely nothing coming up in terms of SO rails. Alright. How much power? So we've got 5 watts of heat was just burning up there, and I can feel it's over here. Are you a dead cap? The GST thing, let's see. No, these days they've changed it now. They're taking GST on all international sales as well, regardless pretty much of size. That threshold thing you're thinking of, that was the threshold for them requiring a customs clearance. Okay, so we've got some corrosion here on the Wi-Fi plug, socket rather. So yeah, that's the Wi-Fi socket. Not too dissimilar to last night. I'm wondering if this here, isn't it? See, there's sort of liquidy stuff here. And I swear that is a crack in there. I swear there is a crack in that cap. Yeah, pretty sure there is. Hey, Jose, thank you very much for the $4.99. Thank you very much. But yeah, that looks like a blowout to me. I'm pretty sure I'm not even going to need the infrared camera. Let's just throw some... we'll just turn it around so I can access it. There we go. Squish. And pop. Oh yeah, smoko baby. Oh, it smells terrible. That's an angry cap. What is your way of handle customer not paying for and picking up device dodging contact? Nick, you're in Australia, aren't you? Basically, the real problem is that depending on the state that you're in, you're kind of stuffed in the sense of you kind of have to hold their stock, hold their equipment indefinitely almost. Here in Queensland, we can't do anything for at least 6 months. We have to maintain records of every attempted communication, and then after 6 months, if you've had no success, You then further have to contact the person and tell them that you're going to auction off their stuff. You then have to advertise that you're auctioning off stuff, and then whatever money you get from the auction, you have to give them whatever the value of the device is, and then you may retain the rest for your expenses. So basically, as a business, if you get stuck with customer gear, you kind of up the creek. Oh, you're in the US? I think you're pretty much free to go whatever you want to do. As long as they're aware of the situation, as in, yeah, as long as they're made aware of it initially, then I think, places like Lewis or whatever used to, I think it was 3 months, maybe 6 months, after which, yeah, I think you're legally free to do what you want. But don't quote me on that, because I don't know what your state laws are, and I don't even know if they change per city. Jim Allen, no, we very, very rarely take credit up front, because that leads to its own nightmares. Graham was talking about this the other night, actually, on one of his streams, on his live stream. And basically the problem is, for as much of an inconvenience as it is for people not picking up their stuff, it is a vastly greater nightmare if you've taken money from them for a job or something like that, or for parts. It's just sort of, it rarely ends well for you. It's sad, but it's the reality. Entrapment, yeah, that's pretty close to it. Yeah, the only time I do take money up front is to buy a part for them if it's something very unique. And even then, it's got to be of a fairly high value. Like, okay, maybe if it's a very unique screen for a very unique laptop, for something that I'm not going to ever probably deal with again, then yeah, I'll sort of go, look, you're going to have to pay up front for this. And if the deal does not go through, then basically I give them the part, but I would still charge for my bench fee. Yeah, I gotta make sure I don't melt the hell out of this. It stinks real bad. I'm trying not to melt the Wi-Fi connector. Okay, we've got some reflow going there. Ah, damn it, I'm melting the Wi-Fi connector. That sucks. Yeah, exactly, Graham. As Graham says, yeah, just ask Graham. He'll tell you, because basically we have the same mindset when it comes to this. Oh, that was my SSD connector. God damn, that sucks. Fortunately, it's the corner edge, so it's not a problem. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a TANT or a E. Yep. Oh wow, yeah, that's messed up. That's some pretty bad cracking going on there. No wonder it stunk so much. This probably is a tantalum. What was it? 686, so 68 microfarad, 16 volt tantalum. And it stinks. But yeah, here in Australia, and particularly in Queensland, I do try really hard to make sure that customers can get back and pick up their stuff, because it is a nightmare if they just ghost you. I've got stuff that's still sitting here for 2 years on. And I know there are people, I had someone come up the other day and go, oh, you probably won't remember me, but I left a red hard drive here about 2.5 years ago. I was wondering if you still had that, because you're going to recover it or something. And I'm like, I have no idea where that thing probably is anymore. I would not have thrown it out, but just trying to find it is a nightmare. Over 2 years, there was a lot of churn in your stuff, so it's not exactly the easiest thing to just find an object like that. Hey, we got our power back. Hey, Rob Brown. We should get a green blink soon. Come on, Blinko. Yes, yes, we are repaired. Oh, this is an awesome board too. 2.5 gigahertz, 16 gigabyte RAM. This is a fantastic board. Very nice. Oh yeah, this is, and that was such an easy fault to find. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. That was just pure luck that I plugged it in and I just happened to have my hand on the other side of the board around here and I was like, hey, that's warm. Flipped it over and you could see that cap had that sort of greasy venting next to it. But I do have to put a replacement on. Graham, the big problem I find with waivers is that people will still very much contest them, and unfortunately here the contract cannot, and I'm sure it's over there, whatever contract you get them to sign, you can't actually have it that it takes away any rights that the state has given them, and so therefore I cannot just I can't have a thing that says after 3 months I'm going to toss your gear out or use it myself, because the state says that they have the right to be notified about it and all that other stuff I was talking about before. I mean, most of the time you'd probably get lucky and customers won't even be aware of their rights in that respect, but you know you're going to get, sooner or later you are going to get a customer who's extremely well aware of their rights and they're a complete arsehole to boot, which usually seems to go hand in hand. And they're gonna drag you over the legal coals, and you are gonna suffer. And you can barely even charge them storage fees because it's like, yeah, you got this little board. What are you gonna charge? Yeah, how can you reasonably charge more than a couple of dollars a week? You're just in a really bad losing position in that respect. Alright, so we need a replacement cap. I think this is a 3662 board. Why did I take the microscope away? Oh no, 3787, my big bad wrong there. Tell people that I have to pay for insurance on stuff in storage. Well, that's a pretty good, I think it's more, if it gets dragged to court, that at least is a good explanation for justification. I mean, I pay a moderate amount for insurance here for the business stuff, mostly liability, but also customer equipment. What am I trying to do? That's a question I ask myself so often. Okay, let's switch to schematics. What was that? 3787 was it? Yep. Bugger off. Just something sticking on my arm there. Search. Oh, damn it. There, so it is a 68, 16 volt D2E case. I'm sure I've got some donors I can steal that from. I'm kind of curious what else might actually have that around in my board collection. Find a part. Let's see, what do we want? 68 microfarad, 16 volt, D2E case. We'll go SM. search. Well, it looks like all of the good ones have it. Hey Toastek, just saw you there. And Drachev's here. Geez, every board basically has this. Okay, I've got a choice between 332s, 3662s, 2850s. Let's bring out a 2850. It's always fun to actually do something useful with those boards. They are, of course, a incredibly maligned board with good reason. They're terrible, terrible boards. Machines, that is. But they've got a lot of parts on their board, so that's good. Okay, let's go to quad mode. Quad camera. Okay. 2850. Alright, so it's... What? You're a 2849. You load of crap. Oh wow, that board's actually got silk screened part codes on it. Okay, 2850. Now, you don't see that very often on MacBook boards. Yeah, so it'll be this one here, one of those two. Now the real tricky bit with getting tantalums migrated to a new board is that a lot of the time they like to chuck a big fat hissy fit as you're trying to desolder them. They really do not like being heated up multiple times and at the temperatures that we need to get them off the board. They're just big fat hissy fitters. Like, how dare you heat me up like that? Yeah. So we try to move things into our favour by pickling the pads. You don't need a lot of leaded solder there, but you know, even just a bit, it helps drop the temperature required to get that off. And then a bit of patience. And we've got two here, so if we bugger one up, we've got the other. And then we've got another half dozen or so of 2850 boards. But usually what will happen is they will tend to split around the top case area, the top of the case. And you'll smell them if they do pop it and kill themselves. You just got to be patient. The better thing to do is just buy replacement tantalums. You can see that leaded is melting. That one's melting too. It's not going to come off yet because that's got to wick through to the underside, because these are gull wing capacitors. Their legs they're folded back underneath the case, and yeah, we call them, it's called a gull wing leg, as in seagull sort of thing, which is why they don't come off so easily straight away. Just got to keep waiting. We'll get there eventually. There we go, one's off. There we go. You can't, they do come off. If you heat the board from underneath, you end up burning all this sort of stuff. Some things, sure, I'll go and heat the board underneath, but most of the time, just a bit of patience and you'll get it. Yeah, so see how the legs are folded underneath it? That's what we call the gull wing configuration. So when you actually look at parts on a data sheet, you'll often find that if there are different options for the pads or the legs, one of them will be for this format, there may be another for straight out. Ah, crikey. There we go. Straight out ones or whatever. That's why you end up having so many different letters and variations of parts. And you kind of look at them and you go, well, what's the difference between them? Well, it really comes down to... I thought you were Flux. Sorry, buddy. You're an interesting looking critter. You're more interested in the... Oh, you're one of those suckers. You're going to fix up that... Yep, go on. Go fix up that corrosion. Yeah. So this is what you need. You need a trained army of these critters to go in and fix up the corrosion on your ports. He's chewing away at it. Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you fix it? Well, for whatever reason, he's getting into that flux or something. He's trying to clean up the flux now. He's like, man, you left a big mess there. Let's try and sweep it away. You gonna sweep it away? Yep. No. Yeah, it's probably toxic for you, buddy. You really should get out of here. You might get sucked into the fume extractor though, so be careful. Okay? Say goodbye. Ah, great, he's stuck on the end of my tip. Oh, we've got to work out what orientation this thing is. And let's see, we've got ground on the right. Yeah, PV bus on the left. Trying to think, do I hot air it down or It's going to be a bit tricky trying to get that one down, but this one we can pre-solder. Can I get some assistive heat? Yeah. Oh, that's a terrible joint. Terrible. We'll get to that in a second. We just need to initially get some solder in there to do the job. Okay. So now that we have enough solder on those pads, stick some flux, then we'll get the hot air, but we'll set the hot air at 250. And the soldering iron can do the rest. Perfect-ish. Not so perfect. God damn it, I'm gonna have to hot air it. Technically, this probably isn't actually that much of a problem, but I'm still gonna do this. This is really threading the needle here with the heat. The temperature is a bit lower too. This is only 360. Yeah, I might have to go up a bit higher. My flux is getting cooked before the solder goes. If I and be like that, yeah. Sometimes you got to be quick. There we go. Hot glue and J2 cents method. uh, I have a reputation to uphold. I don't think I could endure that sort of detriment. Okay, it's cooled off enough now. Hit it with the IPA, scrub it clear. Alright, looks good. Now the only trouble I got here is I'm not sure whether I can use the 3787 on a 3332 screen. I have a feeling I cannot. But it's not something I'm absolutely sure about, to be honest. Yeah, lots of yuck flux around. That's why we ultimately do the ultrasonic clean. Yeah, I'm not really sure what screen I can get away with this. What about Chip Quick? No, I prefer not to use Chip Quick because it does introduce other issues. It's great if you've really got no other choice and you need to get a part off at low temperature, but in terms of actually putting parts back down as a working board, I definitely personally do not feel comfortable using Chip Quick. Yeah, now I'm not really sure about the screen situation. I can't remember whether with the earlier screens you will get display but you won't get backlight, or vice versa scenario. Well, it doesn't even fit in there. I'll see if it should work with the Retina screen. Come on, come here, cable. Yeah, I should be able to use this cable assembly to do the testing. This is a supposedly Retina certified, cough cough, capable screen extension. Because you can get the 1466 ones, but they're a bit unpredictable when it comes to plugging them into the Retinas. So yeah, this one's supposed to be Retina capable. Just get those out of the way. We don't want any accidents happening. We need a bootable device. Use that. I guess we plug power in. And see how we go. Obviously we're not going to have screen, I'm sorry, we're not going to have keyboard or anything else. But we should at least get some kind of a boot. though it may take some time. It is sad that with a lot of these machines from like prior to 2015, we are now suffering problems such as this the rubber fatigue and the general cases are now starting to suffer. We getting anything here? 1.7 amps. We do seem to be running. No. Have we got anything happening on the backlight? Is it glowing? I don't think we've got backlight. I think that is one of the problems that sometimes comes with these cross-screen situations. It may be the extension lead is a problem too. We'll try to plug it in directly. It's just considerably more awkward. Yeah, there normally is a delay, but it shouldn't be that long. But you are absolutely right, yeah, there normally is a delay. Because it won't know what device to boot from, things like that. But that was getting to the point where it should have complained about something. Okay, so this is why screen extension cables are great, because it is such a pain in the backside to do it this way. Everything is just a little bit too close for comfort. There we go again. Hey Tane W, morning. Yeah, I do have a bootable stick. It should still work obviously without, it'll just give you that flashing folder of course. Really not seeing anything. I'll give it another 30 seconds or so, but I have a feeling that it's not wanting to talk to the screen. Oh, well, there you go. Shut my face. Kind of curious why it's not bringing up a progress bar, but I guess we'll see what happens. Ah, here comes a progress bar. This may be running very slow because it can't see a battery, or it may have a sensor issue. Unfortunately, I can't actually check. Although there is a way. I'll be able to tell when it... Oh no, I can't log in because I don't have a keyboard. God damn it. See you later, 3X. Doob doob doob. Slow booting. Here it comes. Yeah. but it works, so that's good. Funnily enough, this actually should work with the MRI. Let's see if it works with the MRI. It's actually been a while since I've had a situation where I needed to even boot with the MRI. Let's see if it even still works. Okay, we'll boot with the MRI. See if I can find a little... I was going to see if I can find a hub, but no, I just realised it is in the other side of the house. I'm in no mood for running over to the other side of the house to get a hub. Hello, moth, dropping from the ceiling. The MRI should at least run all the way through. It will obviously complain about some things, but it'll be interesting to see if it does actually get to the end of the test sequence. Hey, Tech32, how's it going over there? Come on, come on. Here we go. No. Yeah, it's going to be getting warm amongst everything else. Oh, at least it gives me the serial number. Cool. Loading core devices. Maybe it might not. It's kind of stuck there. Kind of stuck. Stuck. It might be just simply because everything else is, missing, so it's kind of upset about that. Let's see if I can find a chassis that will support it. I don't think I have any for this model. I'll just check in the other room though. I got a stack of 37 up one 1398s, but okay, let's have a look at the 1398s that I do have. Stay. Let's see. Ooh, what are you? Late 2013, 15 inch, ouch. MacBook Pro. Oh wow, you actually are one. Huh. What are the chances? You must be... Oh, you're also one. What the hell, man? All of a sudden I've got appropriate chassis everywhere. Something's burning. Yeah, that's going nowhere. Nowhere quickly anyway. Alright. Yeah, I really didn't think I had a chassis suitable for this, but it does seem I might have. And it looks like I've actually already got a board in there. And a drive. Wow. What the hell? And it's all screwed in? Hmm. Decent sort of screen. What is this? Where did you come from? Where did you go? Ow! Job 17. Oh wow, that's a while ago. Clearly, it was a. I'm guessing that there's something wrong with the main board, and I was dumb enough to reinstall it without getting the backlight correct. So I was obviously just slapping it back together. Okay, we're going to disassemble it. And hopefully I won't regret doing that. It looks like it's also a 16 gig perhaps, and it is a 3787. Very interesting. I'm going to have to dig back in as to why this one is in my possession. Don't have a battery for it though. And this is a superior board. It's a 2.616. Alright, let's see what happens if I boot this. Can't believe I've left the drive in there too. And it's a 512 gigabyte drive. Holy crap. I don't think you can get any higher spec. 512 gigs for this. Maybe they did have 1 terabyte option at that time. Yeah, option. It boots. Oh, right, okay. Well, I guess that answers why. Yeah, it's got issues. Yeah, VRAM issues. Well, that explains that. It might be repairable, I'm not sure. But I mean, they do have, yeah, the discrete GPU on it. This is going to be a bit of a process. Not as bad as like a 1700 board, but still a process to get these out. But hey, I may have just made myself a nice replacement 1398 and all of a sudden. Finally, I can watch my TV shows in extreme high definition. Reboot time. Yeah. Oh, come on. You're supposed to be a short one. There we go. And hopefully we don't separate the cables from the connectors. Thankfully not. Those Wi-Fi connectors being notorious for disassociating. Yeah, it's actually a good question, Oscar, because usually when they boot into the iGPU, don't they? And they only fire up the GPU when when requested. Isn't that the case? Now, the bad thing about what we've just experienced here, if this thing does work, is that it merely encourages me to hoard stuff. And that's not a good thing. What the... You bloody bugs! I've still got bugs raining down on me. Yeah, Paul, you can't fit these boards like that. And there goes the screwdriver, suiciding over the edge. You know you haven't done a board for a while when you start using the techniques for completely different boards. And yeah, I mean, honestly, it's been a while since I've done a 1398. They're not that common for me anymore. Ugh. Screwdriver on the floor. No, what I really need to do is seal the windows even better. I need to do better. I need to be better. That is my motto now. Do better. Or maybe I should sort of soften that a little bit and make it try better. Because at least if you say try better and you fail, at least you tried. Come on, up you come. There you go. Try harder, be better. That's, damn it. I think you're going to have to take that one for yourself since it is yours, Graham. You're going to have to take... You say it much better. Try harder, be better. Honestly, that's sounding a lot like one of my school motto things, which was Melior Rexi. What is it? Bonus intro Melior Rexi. Yeah, that was what it was. Which basically means come in good, go out better. So maybe I've been prepped for this all the way back from school. What is that? That's like, holy crap, that's 32 years ago. Alright, we're not going to talk about that now. That's depressing. Be the one with the MacBook. Okay, we don't need that. I can't believe that's 512 gigs. That is... You get some decent money for this one. It's tempting, but I've been given legitimacy to patronizing comments. But isn't that the best way to actually undermine patronizing comments? It's sort of like... It's basically like killing a fire by giving it too much oxygen. That's my theory. Hey, Service PC Specialist. Good evening to you. Well, evening for me anyway. I don't know what time it is for you. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Well, I've basically, other than a battery, they probably think I'm serious. Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, I'll steal it then. If I can actually utilize it effectively at the end of a stream or something like that, then yeah, I'll give it a few practice shots. Try harder, be better. Yeah. Need to. I'm not really a person for practicing things. It's a case of I like to just do things. Try harder, be better. It does seem to have a film over it. It is technically morning for me. It is 1:11 in the morning. Graham handing out all the stuff he doesn't want. Yeah, okay, alright then. You could at least make it seem like you're feeling a little bit. Whoa, what, we got 256. Oh shit, we really do. God damn it. This person gave me a hell of a machine, it seems. Yeah, the Lewis one is actually really good. And you want to come up with something, but you just can't think of anything really good other than, oh, see you later, alligator. Yeah, and you just feel so contrived and dumb coming up with these things. Well, I certainly do. What is this? Oh, wow, that's... Jesus. I mean... So they've got an adapter that fits flush onto the side, and in it they've got a SanDisk Ultra 256 gigabyte. I would be scared crapless to be depending on that little thing, to be honest. I mean, it's in a pretty good holder, but the sheer bit density of this, that is just phenomenal. That is an impressive bit density on there. I'd be worried if I looked at it wrong. It would... A butterfly could fly past and fart, and I would lose half my pictures. Yeah, I'm not sure what to think about that. Okay, we do have one sensor going off on the scale. What are you, GPU? Okay, that's fine. That's just the GPU one. And they will read 129 by default, but then as soon as I start up Valley, or any program that requires the GPU, that 129 will all of a sudden become a real temperature. Mind you, being on a MacBook, it's not too far. Okay, there you are. See, it's already, you probably can't see it, but it's switched over to 42, 43. You get 2 terabyte now. That's just insane. How many layers are on those chips to do that? Precisely, Greg. Yep, you don't know what sort of effects those farting butterflies will have. They could alter the course of many things. I'm going to assume that because I do not have a battery in this at the moment, it explains why the frame rate's pretty poor. So we're only at about 12 to 20 frames per second, but it is without the battery. As soon as you put the battery in this, that should actually be up at around about the 50-60 frames per second mark. All my temperatures are pretty good, which further reinforces my belief that the battery is what's holding it back, or the lack of battery, because the CPU cores, they're only at 50-60 degrees. They should be well and truly into the 100-degree mark. So considering it's running in a crippled state, it's doing a pretty good job. Alrighty. Well, I think we've had a pretty decent night, and I'm actually quite happy about that board, and I'm quite happy about pulling this 1398 chassis out and finding that it contained not one but 2 fantastic storage devices. So yeah, 512, 16, 14, 12. Basically, these are for your 1502s, your 1406s, 1466s, and 1398s. And then this thing. I might actually find out contact the person who owned this, and see if they want that chip back, because they may have just forgotten about it. Alright, we'll leave it at that. But yeah, I consider that a pretty decent win. The downside is I honestly don't really have a good purpose for this. It's it's a machine, great, it works. It's a very nice machine, but I probably am better off selling it to someone. I'd give it maybe 2, 3 years of life left in it under normal circumstances, and maybe there's 4 or 5 with the right hands, with the right people. But I am kind of kidding myself if I'm thinking I'm going to actually utilize this. About 100. Right, thank you. Yeah. Oscar, yeah, fortunately, I do actually have a sticker on the back which tells me the job number that it came from. So, and yeah, it did read off the name. I saw that there too. So, be able to find out either way. But yeah, I think as much as it is fun to collect these machines, I do need to be a little bit pragmatic. I need to clear out room. Yeah, I need to get room in my workshop storage room. So I think I'll clean it up, put it up for sale. You won't really get a lot for it. Maybe I'll be lucky to get maybe 400 or 500 Australian dollars. Yeah, but beyond that, I mean, I could try push for a higher amount, but it's probably just going to languish. And yeah, if I can sell it for 400, that's great. It's a quick sale. It's out. Someone gets a good deal. Everybody's happy. So yeah, I think I might go that route. Okay then. Well, thank you very much for sitting around. I much appreciate it. And thank you all for the comments and participation. It's always good to have people here to chit chat with. Sell it to Lewis. Fantastic idea. Yeah. Yes, I'm not. I scam you like Pedro. Maybe I should sell it to Pedro. That'd be a laugh. I'll sell it to him for 400 and see what he can then scam someone else out of it. Yeah, knowing eBay. Oh, I'm not going to go eBay. I'll find another route to sell it. Definitely not eBay. All right. Thank you all. I'll see you next time. And remember, try harder, be better. See you next time.